So guys, there are three things, which determines your mental state. The first thing is your headline, you know. So where is your headline? So like this is your headline. Suppose uh, your headline, bends and goes to moon mount. So this is the moon mount, and moon is your mind, moon is your mental state. And if mind line goes to moon, it all it will make you more emotional. You become more emotional, very much emotional, and you are very sensitive to all the things around, small, very very, small things, gets into your mind, and you get depressed. So if you have this kind of a headline, so most probably you are going to be depressed at some point of time in your life. So or suppose your headline is not going to it's not going to moon mount, but still it has a tendency of bending to the moon mount. So still you are going to be emotional, but not that emotional, but still you are prone to depression. Okay, still you are prone to depression. So suppose if there is a gap between your between the lines, this is the gap, between the lines of your headline. So you're most probably at this point of time, at your in this age, you're going to be depressed. And it becomes more worse if the gap is between, gap is below the Saturn finger. So it becomes more worse because Saturn gives you anxiety, Saturn gives you sadness, Saturn gives you sorrow, Saturn is old age. Saturn is a very slow planet. Saturn gives all the diseases. That is the work of Saturn. So because it determines your karma, Saturn determines your karma. So he's likely to give those things. So the next is, if there is an island, like this, if there is an island where between your headline, then most probably you are going to be depressed. Your mental condition will won't be, up to the par. So or if there is a cross, and if there is a cross in the, hardline, no, sorry, headline, uh, so you're more likely to be depressed. So this was all about the headline. So the next is your Saturn mount. So this is your Saturn mount, most probably. So if you have grill, if you have grill, this kind of a sign, this kind of a sign, uh, grill. So I'll draw it again for you. So if you have this kind of, sign, so you're more likely to be in depression, or a kind of certain kind of a mental illness. The next is, if you have a Saturn ring, if your finger has a Saturn ring in this way, you know I'll draw it in red so that it will be easy to understand. So okay, so it if you have a Saturn ring, so if you have Saturn ring, then you are more likely to be depressed also, and you will have so much of anxiety. At some point of time, you will lose hope in life. And the next is, if your Saturn mount gets, pushed to the sun mount. If it's not very well developed, not very well developed, and it gets pushed to, and because you can easily make it out like this, like if this portion is very much swollen, and this portion is not swollen, so it's more likely that your Saturn mount has shifted, to the sun mount. So you're more likely to be depressed. The next is if you have so much of lines joining, your headline and heart line. So this is your heart line, and this is your, you know, this is this is your headline. So if there are so much of lines joining in this way, so it shows that at this point of ages, at this point of ages, you are going to be depressed, and there will be situation at this point of time, where you won't be able to control the situation mentally and emotionally as well. So, for knowing at which age you are going to face this kind of problem, it's very important to know how to calculate age in your palm. So today I'll show how to calculate age in your palm in a very simple way. So let's make a point below the Jupiter finger. Look, like this is Jupiter finger. So the place where Jupiter finger ends, so we'll mark a point and we'll name it A. In a similar way, where the thumb ends, we'll put a point and that is B. Okay. So now we'll find a middle portion, between A and B, and we'll name it C. So now we have 3 points here. Okay. In a similar way, we'll go to the Mercury finger. So this is the Mercury finger, and at the base of the Mercury finger, we'll put a point and we'll name it B. Okay. So now we have already have a distance A and C. So we'll mark in the same way here, and we'll mark it, say, name it E. So now we have E and C. So we are going to, we are going to join these two lines. So now let's join E and C. Okay. So now we have joined it, and we'll also make some perpendicular line at between the fingers. This is the first perpendicular, second, and third. So now we can see there are four sections. Now this four sections, shows your mounts. These four sections shows your mount. Like this is your Jupiter mount, and this is your Saturn mount, this is your Sun mount, and this is the Mercury mount. So now you can see, uh, like we have a few points, here. Now you can see, take a different color. Okay, green will do. So this is one point, where it has intersected. In the same way, if you can see here, and we have also got point here. So if we extend the lines, if we extend this line, like here, 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 and here, so we also get uh, points in your headline, 1.2 point and 3. So now these 3 point is very important points. Now this shows three different ages. This is your 21 age, 21 years. This is your 42. Now this is your 63. So in the same way, we can mark 42 here, 21 here, 63 here. Okay. So now between 42 and 21, we can mark more 2 points at the gap of 7, so that is 35 and 38, in a similar way, we can put 2 points between 63 and 42. Okay. So that is 56. This age is 56, and after that is 49. So in this way we can calculate age, and after that, if there is any marking, suppose there is any kind of I talked about the island in headline, island in head. If you have island in headline, here, and if this says that is the for 35 years of age, so that it shows that at 35 years of age, at 35 years of age, you have certain kind of setbacks. Okay, so this was the very easiest way of calculating, age in your palm. So next is, if to see a temporary anxiety in someone's, like he is suffering from so much of anxiety, you can see line, very much stress lines here, stress lines. You see so many stress line in this is your Venus mount. You'll see so much of stress lines here. So, and if it's cutting your lifeline, if these stress lines, these stress lines are cutting your lifeline, so now it can affect your life as well, your health. It can affect your health very badly, and if it becomes a grill, so it becomes the situation becomes the worst. So most likely you are in anxiety, and if you have a weak, in addition, if you have a weak, weak headline, like if there is a gap, so this adds on the situation, this adds on the situation. And if it's in the, below the, if the gap is below the, the Saturn finger, then it becomes more worse. And suppose if there is a grill, this marking here also in the Saturn mount, this the more like most likely that this person is going to die, at certain point of a time, by committing suicide. So and one more thing which I didn't mention before, that you need to see the, the skin texture. Like I made a video on skin, on skin, which kind of a skin a person has determines his emotional state. So like if a person is having a very soft course, like soft skin, like, and if the texture in the hand, if the lines are very minute, and you can know this by, as I explained it earlier, like if you take a fingerprint, so it becomes very dark. So if the fingerprint becomes very dark, then most probably you have a very soft skin. So this kind of person are more emotional people, they are very emotional people. So guys, if you find these kind of, these kind of people, uh, and you are handling such kind of people, you should be very careful, very careful, very careful by in handling these kind of, and they can get hurted anytime. And especially parents, for the parents, I would like to say that if you see these kind of markings, these kind of a marking in your kid's hand, so you should handle him in a specific way, or else you're going to lose your child, because or else he is going to go in depression, or try to do some mischievous thing, or he might not even, he might lose interest in anything, what is around. So these kind of people should be left alone, and I don't mean to left alone, so I mean like they should not be provoked, or they should not be, pushed very hard into a certain situation. So it's very likely to leave them alone, and don't be a problem for them, don't bully them. This is the basic problem, in, like many people, the people who are very sensitive, are very emotional, are being bullied in the school, you know this has is been the bully is not only physical, it's mental as well. So this should be kept in mind. So guys, and as you know, like there are many suicide cases, as you've seen, I have seen recently. I'll share the image, like, and you can all easily see, how what was the reason of our committing suicide, so thank you guys, and I hope this is helping you.